Greetings, traveler.
We're going to be reviewing an XQN game where he had this just insane Vol'jin game. Yeah, we're going to have a look at it. All right, here we go. So, Vol'jin, as I already spoiled, and it's an Annoyatron start, which is pretty solid. That's anything with a shield on Vol'jin is quite nice. So this has already been pre-edited by Zod, so that's really nice. I don't have to fast forward. I can just watch. So we have economy here. I'd be very surprised if we don't do anything with that 3 damage spell. So I feel like that's getting bought. And then he's figuring out whether he wants the 2/5 or not. Yeah, I like that. Because now he gets the money from the scouts. This is honestly one of the more... Yeah, he's trying to figure out if he wants the 5 damage on the shield or +1 on the automaton. And I think 5 damage on the shield makes way more sense. But this is a move that I like doing myself. If I have a damage coin in the shop, then I like getting the scout unopened. Because you're still getting as much money. You're just getting a little bit less tempo, where now you have a 1/1 instead of a 1-drop, but that's like somewhat negligible tempo loss. And then sometimes you just get to keep this for a 4-drop, 5-drop, or a 6-drop if the game goes a certain way. Probably gonna want to play the 5/1 here. It's either that or tier and buy apples, I suppose. But oh, he's considering the bacon? No, right? I feel like you want the economy. Yeah. All right. So level is fair. It's just one of those things where I like buying the 5/1 for the economy, but I don't like the rest of the shop. So I think it's fair to level instead. Jandis with Fellblood? Yeah. Jandis is honestly pretty good in Trinket meta. There's some cool stuff for there. Another scout of... Ooh, wow, this is weird. So I like the Pharynx here, but he's looking whether he can use his apples here, I suppose. He does have a little bit of extra gold. Ooh, wow, straight to 4 would be so cool. Yeah, okay. I haven't really done this a lot in the Trinket meta. So he's gonna swap on top of the automaton right now, which is an interesting change, but I guess he didn't have that much damage in the shop, and he is fighting N'Zoth, so N'Zoth is gonna be a little bit more likely to have lower statted minions on the board to set up for fish. All right, let's see what we take here. I mean, as Vol'jin, Holy Mallet is not too bad. I don't think it's fish, right? Not in this lobby. So I guess it's +3/+3 to the tavern or shields. So I don't know. I can never make myself to buy the 3/3, but because he needs to buy and he has apples, it might be correct. He needs 1 more gold, but I guess he could sell the Annoyatron because he can sell Scout. So let's say he takes the Gauntlet, right? Then he goes to 7 gold. He can sell Scouts to go back into 8, but he wants 9 because he wants to use apple and triple buy here. Yeah. So even though the 3/3 isn't quite as good, I guess this is at least because... yeah, so whenever I select these games, I don't like fully watch them. I skim them to see if there's anything cool, but I don't analyze everything. So I definitely don't see it all. Okay, that's an interesting choice. So he will go for the double unmagnetized card, which gives him more money, right? So now he can sell those units separately, but it also gives him a little bit more opportunity to do certain plays where he gets a triple and he can stack. But I think it's mainly because they're pretty big and he just doesn't have a lot of units. All right, so he gets to Reborn. So if he wants to put that on Automaton, he can, but I feel like that window to play Automaton has... yeah, I don't love it. All right, we are going to buy Taragosa, so that is perhaps a little Vol'jin specific, because you can do specific stuff with Vol'jin where you make your Taragosa bigger, and then there's trinkets that interact with that, and yeah, so he is on tier 4, and it's not like he could have leveled here. Yeah, he is really leaning into dragons here, because you don't do that on very many other heroes, I would say, where it's a mech demon lobby and you're just like, okay, let me just pick up a Taragosa with 0 synergy, and then, oh, there we go, Perma Drake. That is I think pretty Vol'jin specific, where he's looking for certain combos. There is training certificate, but that's a lesser trinket, I think, right? But there's some other stuff he's gunning for. Alright, so he gained the stats from the promo. This is a pretty scary spot, honestly. Because I don't think he can go to 5 from here, right? But he hits another Taric. It's a Roaring Rallier, but that feels... I mean, it may have to be good enough. I don't know. If it has to be good enough, it's pretty sad. Yeah. Alright, so this can give him Yulon or Amber or whatever. Money, I suppose. Yeah. So now he gets to roll for more Monkey, but he also gets to roll for more Promo, Poet. Alright! Amber's back on 4. Excuse me. Forgot about that. And another Promo. Now, can he buy the Monkey first and then still get the promo? That is the question here. Otherwise, it might not make sense to do that. I think he can because he needs to sell anyway for board space. Probably still Blue Shell. I don't think we need Drakaseth that badly. That solves the money problem quite nicely. I feel like you still buy that coin here because I don't think he can do much. I suppose he does have Elise, so it's not really wasted if he's rolling. But I definitely didn't mind picking up that spell because I feel like the chance that we were going to be able to buy something was pretty low. All right, so I guess we put damage on the shields and we hope that they don't play around it. And now he does really, really need a good Dragon Trinket because otherwise we are going to fall so far behind. And now all of a sudden you're playing versus people that are setting a Beatboxer or that have Urzils and all that. So let's see what happens here. That's really the the defining moment now. Can he find something from this greater trinket to push him in a good direction? So he gets a brand 2 dragons. Okay, so he slams the timepiece. So this might not be the first time that he's done this, or he's seen it somewhere, or he just theory crafted it because that was way too fast. Now, what this does is each of your minions becomes equalized when it comes down to attack and health. So why is that insane here? We're playing Vol'jin. So we can move our biggest damage on top of a Taragosa. And then the bronze timepiece is going to make the Taragosa's health equal to its damage in the combat. And what that means is that it's going to be permanent because it's a combat buff, but Taragosa makes those permanent. So that is just really nasty. That is exponential scaling, right? So you're getting twice as big, twice as big, twice as big, twice as big. So I suppose he doesn't even really want to triple that Taragosa. I think he just wants to keep 2 so he can keep swapping them around. The hate spawn, yeah. That's not permanent though. They made it so that negative buffs are not permanent. But that would have been so insane. Yeah, like Bramblewitch hitting a Taragosa. Sorry, it's a 3/3 now. Alright, so let's see how big the Tarics are after combat now. I guess 40, right? Because it's minus 10 from the hate spawn, so 41, 41. Yep. And now they can swap each other again, and now you're getting 82, 82, and so on and so on and so on and so on. So it's just exponential now. I'm a little surprised he's not bothering with the Leroy, because when you play this kind of style, where you just make 2 units, because that's what he's doing, right? He's just pumping the Gosas. Picking up scam cards, it's just a really good way of... oh, will he triple? I don't think so. I mean, he could swap the attack now and then triple it, and then it's pretty huge. And then if your knight finds another Gosa, then it's nice. So that could work. Or a Poet, honestly. If he just finds Poet, he's probably fine as well. So it is a little scary for next turn. But he does double the stats. That is so good. Ooh, Sunscreener. We can shield it. We already have 2 Embers. I don't know. I'm not entirely opposed to perma shielding it, but it is... yeah, it's a little redundant here. Then you can sell that. Yep. Alright, so now that Taric is perma shielded. Kenifu, thank you so much for the 9. Appreciate that. So now the scary thing is that he doesn't need to roll a Taric or a Poet next turn, or he can't perma buff anymore. Oh, that's so much. Hey, Dejan, thank you so much for the 5. Oh, welcome back. But the fact that the golden Taric now gets double buff is super sweet. So yeah, finding one more Taric or a Poet here is now perfect. Because then he needs 1 turn now. Because he can't really buff the golden Taric that much. Because there's no other units with a lot of damage. But if he waits 1 turn, he will have a unit with a lot of damage. Right, so assuming that he finds another Taric or a Poet. That's really, really what matters right now. If he can't find that, then this is now a bit unfortunate. Because then he's going to be stuck. He's not going to be able to go exponential anymore. So I'm assuming he's going to roll pretty heavily for a perma buff effect here. So Taric or Poet. Okay, XQN. I see. The problem is solved. Excuse me. All right, well, that takes care of that. So I wonder if he's now going to be a little bit more inclined to start picking up Leroy or whatnot. Because he can't really make his other dragons super big. I guess he could just spread it out one at a time. Right? He could just spread it out one at a time. Because now that he has Poet, he can opt to make other dragons bigger. Alright, this Sunscreener is so good here. So I guess Taric just moves to a promo here. And then you have full shields, and then the Ambers are going to shield each other afterwards. We do want to make sure that the Sunscreener is before the Amber Guardians, because otherwise the Ambers might shield the front line and you waste shields. So, yeah. That's pretty good. Double buff doesn't work with Bronze Timepiece. Right. Let's see. Set the highest. 200. I guess it's just the promo Drake, yeah. I wonder if I would have tripled it then. Yeah, because there seems to be not that much upside and quite some risk. I guess the upside is that if you do hit the Poet or Taric, then you will scale faster because you now have a bigger base unit to scale from. Because you've just you've added those 80/80s to each other, right? So you have a 160 unit instead of 80. So it essentially saves you 1 turn. But if you miss on the perma scaling, you lose a turn. So it really only helps him if he finds the Poet or the Taric. And in worst case scenario, he doesn't find them for 2 turns. And now you're all of a sudden no longer scaling, which is a bit scary. Man, Sunscreener is so good for dragons. I've done this myself. It's so good. I guess Atrocity? I don't know. I think I'd like Atrocity to play around Scam, but it doesn't really matter. Because he can now just make a big attack, Divine Shield Atrocity, and yeah, looks like that's what he's doing. He's leveling, because why not? The Sunscreener is kind of useless now, because Atrocity will get shielded by the Amber, because he has so many perma shields already. Alright, so he is not going to spread the stats out yet. I do assume that he's going to do that at some point. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to keep it at 400 and then just make everything 400. Maybe one more. Yeah. So if I'm playing, I just keep scaling because I just want to go big number. But if XQN wants to win, right? So at some point there is no upside to making your units even bigger. So as long as you're, well, I guess Beatboxer is in. Hang on. With Beatboxer in, there is a fair argument to be made that you could just fight someone with thousands of stats under Beatboxer. So let's not be too fast with no longer going exponential. Because there's no Murlocs either, so your scam is Bramblewitch and Leroy. There's no Nagas for poison either. So yeah, I could see it. I could see that he keeps it stacking until, like, I don't know, 1600 or so. Well, it's already top 3. So he slams a Sindore. I guess he knows what the others are playing. Undead, yeah. It's like he's paying attention to the game. That's crazy. That seems unfair. Oh, he wants to make a permanent Reborn Gargoyle. That makes sense. Okay, I guess that is going to pull him away from perma. He's thinking about buying another one. Right. He can only make one at a time, but he can just do that next turn. That's fair. Okay, he's not going to buff it yet, though. He's like, no, 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 no. 800 first. 800th first. We'll make it big later. Okay, so now he Divine Shields the Gargoyle, and he's going to probably start spreading the 800 next turn. I can't imagine that he bought 2 Gargoyles, and then he's not going to spread the stats next turn. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, there's 1 Leroy, and we have 2 units that need to be Leroyed, so don't think we're that worried. Yeah, honestly, if you're not Sneed, I don't think this Overflow build really works. Now, he's in the top 3, so you could argue, oh, it's already worked, but it's just, I don't know. I never really see it big enough to be impressed, unless it's Sneed. Sneed just goes crazy with this. Bam, bam, bam. All right. Pretty good. Sorry. So I guess I would need to hover to N'Zoth here for a second to see what he's playing, but XQN probably memorized. I don't think too much matters from this point, because I think we're just moving 800 on top of that shielded Gargoyle. Oh yeah, triple works. If the health is relevant, which it's almost certainly going to be. Yeah, Leroy is probably not great for N'Zoth. He could technically make the cleave big, but I don't think so. We're going to permabuff that guy. Yeah, so now we have 900 damage and health on a golden shielded Gargoyle. So that just comes back with 900 health and 900 damage. That is so silly. I think whenever dragons are in, I'm going to start taking Vol'jin pretty highly, because this just seems like an instant win, right? If you hit this. Like, sure, you could technically lose if you're too low health by the time you get it and all that. But for the most part, it's exponential scaling starting on turn 9. So times 2, times 2, times 2, times 2, that's hard to beat. Like, you'd have to scam it. There's no real way to outstat it. Yeah, snipes the Titus, but it just doesn't matter. 60 damage per undead is fair, or I guess 50 damage. It's fair, but we're playing unfair. we don't care about fair. You got to be cheating to deal with these numbers. Undead always feels so sad, man. Although I will say that this wins a decent amount of lobbies. But you just get confronted with the reality that you just don't deal enough damage to deal with these huge Murlocs, huge mechs, huge anything. That's sort of the problem. Well, that was a fun game. Cool game by XQN. That was, yeah, something we're going to try and homebrew for sure. What a game by XQN. If you want to check it out from his perspective, you can click here. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.